This is our life support system. The plants that create oxygen, countless species of animal. How will we fare without them? Our survival depends on the living things we share our planet with. The air we breathe, the food we eat, all this is created by other forms of life. If Mars is to be our home, it'll have to be home to all of this as well. 15 years ago, we thought we knew the answer. This is Biosphere 2, a huge glass dome covering 3 acres of Arizona desert, completely sealed off from the rest of the planet. The theory was that people could survive in it because the whole environment was self-sustaining. Trees would provide oxygen, artificial clouds and oceans would regulate the climate. But the experiment failed. Food rapidly ran short, and extra air had to be pumped in. On Mars, that failure would have killed them all. If we're ever going to call the red planet our home, clearly something's going to have to change. And the easiest thing to change may be Mars itself. It's an idea called terraforming. The aim is to transform a whole planet from a place where we couldn't survive to one where we could. NASA scientist Chris McKay believes we could turn Mars into something surprisingly like Earth.
When we think about going into space, we tend to focus on humans. But in fact, it turns out that it's easier for plants and microorganisms to go to Mars first. They're going to be the first Martians.
In Death Valley in California, Chris McKay is seeking Earth's most hardy creatures. Creatures that might be able to survive on Mars.
That's our guys.
These green smears are algae, microscopic organisms that can thrive even in the harsh and variable climate of Death Valley.
You can see that.
And they could thrive on Mars too. Sucking in its thin and unbreathable atmosphere of carbon dioxide and pumping out oxygen in its place. Except at the moment, even the algae would find Mars deadly.
The first step to make Mars habitable even for the toughest little algae, is to warm it up a bit. Right now it's too cold and too dry for any type of life from Earth. Well, warming up a planet is something we know how to do. We're doing it on Earth. The pollution on Earth would be the medicine on Mars.
It's a strange twist. The best way to make Mars a place we could live may be to pollute it. Here's how it would work. First, a spacecraft has to drop off the pollution-creating machines. The machine's job is to suck up a mixture of Martian dust and atmosphere and process it into new chemicals. It then belches out these greenhouse gases to warm the planet and dark soot to soak up heat from the sun. If we send enough machines, over time, Mars will warm up enough to allow these algae to survive. And the algae will begin to give Mars an atmosphere of oxygen. But to speed the process up, we would need more efficient oxygen makers. and the best that we know are plants and trees.
The real goal to making Mars breathable is to get trees growing there. Those trees, those will be the ones that make the habitable world. And then things will really start happening. As the oxygen level built up, insects, maybe small animals, and eventually large animals, and maybe even humans, could then survive naturally.
We could change Mars.
If I were to lay out a time scale, I would say 50 years humans go to Mars, and soon thereafter the algae and the bacteria go to Mars. And then maybe 30 years later the trees go to Mars. And then the humans come back, but this time in a natural setting that's biologically suitable for them. And then we've learned how to become a life form that lives on 2 planets, not just humans, but all of life.
It's a bold and astonishing plan. If it works, we could turn Mars into a planet very much like Earth. But even Mars will not last forever. Even there, we could never escape the power of the sun.
As the sun keeps getting hotter, the safe zone for life moves further and further out.
This is Mars. Now Earth's dead, this is our home. Thanks to our terraforming, it looks a lot like Earth. And thanks to the hotter sun, it's now in a safe zone. The only trouble is, the sun is still getting hotter. Eventually, the safe zone will leave Mars behind as well. And with Mars dead, we're next. Once again, human beings will be looking for a new home. And once again, we'll have to move further away from our brightening sun. But the planets further out are impossibly hostile worlds. Gas giants like Jupiter and Saturn are not places we could ever hope to transform. If we're going to survive on these alien worlds, it won't be the planets we'll have to change. We may have to change ourselves. David Brin is a science fiction writer. He imagines future worlds for a living.
Well, it's a big universe out there, and the Earth is a very specialized environment. But we're not going to find many Earths out there. If we want to spread out into the galaxy, then we're going to have to adapt to the universe. It's not very easy for human beings to get accustomed to that idea because we're used to making the environment adapt to us.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let your lights off!
As the sun becomes hotter, new worlds will warm into life. This is Europa, one of Jupiter's huge moons. We know it today as a frozen planet, airless, with a crust of iron-hard ice. But in the future, it will be something else entirely.